Thank you guys so much for connecting this morning. I pray that all of you guys have had a great week on last week and a pretty good weekend so far. I'm going to give a few more people time to log in, and we'll be getting started here shortly. Good morning to those of you who are just connecting. Thank you so much for connecting with us this morning. Pray that you've had a great weekend so far. I'm going to give it another couple minutes, give a few more people time to connect, and we'll be getting started. Good morning, fam. Thanks for connecting. Good morning, fam. Felicia, how are you? Thanks so much for connecting. Blessings to you as well. Good morning, Miss Anita. Thank you so much for connecting this morning. Okay. We're going to go ahead and get started here. And if anyone missed anything, they'll be able to catch it in the playback. Good morning, Lucy. Thank you so much for connecting this morning. And because we got some stuff going on, so we'll go ahead and get started. I'm not sure of how many of you are aware of what's going on in or with this shutdown. We touched on it last week, and so I do want to touch on it again this week because I want to check in with you guys to see how you are doing. What I want to know, your concerns and your fears, if any, your frustrations, if any. We want to check in. This shutdown started on October 1st. It is actually the second longest ever full shutdown of our government. And of course, we know that it's centered around, namely, healthcare benefits. And the idea or the thought behind this is that healthcare premiums will double and nearly triple in some cases, um, to make sure that your family is covered. And, some people will be paying as much as $23,000 annually. And that's based upon, I think, if you make a little over $100,000 a year. Um, that's a lot of money. It depends on your state, but that's a lot of money, and it's going to affect us all. And so when you really consider this, you consider down the scale how it will begin to affect other areas, because it's really going to impact your lifestyle, your way of living, your cost of living. Everybody would would just be in the situation. Good morning, Patrice. Thanks so much for connecting with us this morning, bro. Good morning, Tay. Yeah, and so you when you think about that, it's not a big deal to those who are just very well to do, but the majority of the middle class is living paycheck to paycheck, and you got hundreds of thousands of federal workers that are out of work right now. These people are out of work. They've been furloughed and they are not getting paid, right? Many of them, it has been rumored that many of them won't have a job to come back to. And that's going to have an effect. In the meanwhile, government assistance programs, SNAP, they will not be getting benefits for this month. So for Thanksgiving, many of them will not have anything. Also, any balances that they may have had on their EBT cards will be zeroed out come November 1st, if not used. So it's just a situation. On top of that, we still have so much racial divide and tension that is escalating. It's not getting better. It's getting worse. It's not even coming to a place where you can kind of just know what it is. It's getting worse. And so in times like these, we have to really search for God. We have to search for God. We have to find him, because this looks hopeless. In some instances, it feels hopeless. Being people of faith, we have been taught to believe God beyond what it looks like. But that can be challenging even to believers whenever you're feeling the sting of everything that's going on around you. And so I think the mistake that we don't want to make here is we don't want to begin to try to find God in these situations, right? Because God dwells in truth. And sometimes, while the facts may be contrary to the truth, as in this current situation, we still have to look for the truth. Unfortunately, there are very few references in scriptures that can refer you to how to deal with the government shutdown. We don't know that. It's not in the Bible. So we really have to seek God. And being raised in the church, being in the family of believers, we usually run to the church to try and find our answer, our direction, the next move. We're looking there. But then you have the situation where the church have evolved into something that's more about presentation other than dedication to God. So you'll go and they'll present great music, great lights, great backdrop, and entertaining preaching. And so sometimes we have to make sure that we know where to look for God at. And I'm saying all of this to say that this is a time for you to recline deep within yourself and find God in you, the God that walks with you, the God that dwells inside of you. I'm going to share something with you guys, and it may be a little, it may be a little crazy, but I want to share it with you. There was an occasion in the scripture where the Sanhedrin court had came to apprehend Jesus after he was betrayed by Judas. And we know that a fight broke out, right? There was this fight that was going on. And in the midst of the fight, one Simon Peter pulled his sword and struck a soldier ear, and the ear came off. While the fighting is going on, watch this. While the fighting is going on, the scripture says that Jesus picked up the soldier's ear, put it back to his head, and healed him, and he was made whole. So there was still room for miracles within the battle, within the fight. I want you guys to remember that there is room for miracles still, even in the midst of this economic battle that we're fighting, in the midst of these trade wars that we have going on. God is not so distracted by the difference of economic policies and our inability to negotiate and agree on and appropriate certain bills to be passed in the house. That's not distracting him. So he's still able to maintain his status as a miracle working God. And he will do miracles in this season. You know, there are some miracles that we would not have seen in the scripture had not there been trials or testing times, tough times, famines. Elijah, he experienced miracles in the midst of a famine. You understand what I'm saying? And so this is the part that I want you guys to seek for. This is the part that I want you guys to try and lean into, that will remind you that this opens up a whole nother realm and a whole nother possibility for God to do miracles for you. Remember what happened during COVID for many people. During COVID, it was horrible. And in the midst of that, more millionaires were born than ever before, because God says, okay, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to elevate people whenever they think that it's gloom and doom. I'm going to let you know, while COVID is doing what it's doing, I'm still God, and I'm still committed to being a miracle worker. And I know you're probably wondering, why are we having this conversation this morning? The reason is because the season is set for this. The season is set for God to do the extraordinary, the supernatural. The season is set for it. And when you seek God, you don't seek God through the government. You don't seek God through anything or anyone else or any place else. First, seek God within you. If the Spirit of God dwells within you, that's where you need to seek God at. Seek God from within. And you say, Pastor, how do I know God is in me? I don't even know if I hear God sometimes. Yeah, you hear God. You really do. You hear God because God is that thing, all right? God is that voice in you that's telling you right whenever you're trying to do wrong or whenever you're plotting to do wrong, right? That's God. And what we must do is give more attention and more acknowledgement to that thing that's in us, because you carry the Spirit and the presence of God with you wherever you go. And whatever you go through, guess what? You're still a carrier of the Spirit in the presence of God. It doesn't matter what's happening in the world around you. What matters most is your ability to tap into that dimension of yourself where God dwells in times like these to keep your heart pure, to keep your faith full, to keep your hope intact. Whenever we're having to see every 3 or 4 scrolls on social media, you're having to see a racist episode between two people or between ICE and undocumented citizens in the United States. I mean, like it's there. You can't ignore it. And the crazy thing about this is realities are created by visualization. So the more you see something, the more you establish it in your reality. And so it's important that you start seeking God and visualizing the power and the potential and the faithfulness of God. Start visualizing so this can create a new reality for you. See, because it's easy to fall back into the crowd and just be like, man, it's messed up. We need to burn the whole thing down and start over. It's easy to pull up and shake the table because you're frustrated and aggravated. And I get that. I understand that to the fullest. But what I'm saying to you is that we have to be sober in times like this. Anybody that know me that has been with me for a number of years, I don't play into the hype of nothing. I don't play into the hype of what's going on politically. I don't play into the hype of what's going on spiritually. I don't play into the hype of holidays. I don't play into the hype of any of that stuff because we have to be sober, except you find yourself taken away with the drunkenness of what's going on in this world and miss what God is trying to do in you and in the realm of the spirit. Do you understand that right now, currently, today, with hundreds of thousands of federal workers being out of employment and millions of Americans standing to lose their health care benefits and millions of Americans standing to lose their government assistance, do you understand that it's people praying now that's never prayed before? And you have to find your way to them in the realm of the spirit so that you can agree with them. And this is the time that we pray that the Lord convict them of their lifestyles and that this will be the beginning of the change that they so badly needed in their lives. And if we begin to pray and begin to agree with what God can do, what is actually possible in this season, you won't be as intoxicated with what is trying you. You won't be so intimidated by this Goliath, if you will. But it's all about perspective. It's all about how you posture yourself before God and how you posture yourself in this season. But I'm telling you, the season is set for God to do the miraculous. The season is set for God to do supernatural. And it's about whether or not we're going to position ourselves to be a partaker and a witness of these supernatural things. In the midst of this confused, I won't say feeling, but confused and fragile economy, do you understand someone's business is about to be more established than it's ever been? This is the time for them. The season has been set, and God will do what he promised he will do. God's promises is not pending anything that is going on in our national economy or global economy. His promises aren't pending these things happening. God can do what he said he would do without having to go through the Democrats or Republican parties. He doesn't have to. And we have to remember that as believers, we have to remember that, and we have to be honest with ourselves and clarify our concerns. If you're just complaining with everybody else every day, when the press secretary comes and says something off the wall, or the president tweets something that's just ridiculous. If you're getting upset with everybody else, then what are you doing? You are entertaining the nonsensical things that is the major part of why we are where we are. But if you have concerns, and I'm sure you do, and you should, but you have to be careful to clarify what your concerns are so that you can really take them before God, because you don't want to come before God just complain about what everybody else is complaining about because everyone is complaining about it. This is a time for us to really lean in and be able to put words to what we feel, words to what we fear, words to what we expect. You have to be able to put words to it. And so you have to take the time to pull out of the noise and come out of the rave party so that you can be sober for a minute. Because this rage party that's going on right now it doesn't look like it has an end in place, not soon. So are you going to continue like this for another couple of years? Are you going to continue like this for another couple of months in this head space, in this heart space, in this emotional state of being that you're in right now? Again, I'm not saying that you should not be concerned, because every one of us has reason to be concerned. Every one of us has the reason and the right to be frustrated with the way that things are. But what I'm saying is, don't you entertain that more than you entertain the presence and the power and the possibilities of God. Don't do it. It's just a distraction. It is not your friend. It is not here to help you. It will not advance you. It will not see you through. It can only keep you stuck in the current state that you're in. That's all it could do. But you will have to intentionally tap into the power, the possibilities, and the promises of God in seasons like this. These seasons hurt worse when you lose hope in the midst of them. And you're only going to be hurting yourself worse if you lose hope in the midst of seasons like this. Everything that can be shaken is being shaken right now. Yeah, that's a fact. There's nothing we could do about it. But you can have hope, and you can understand and believe God and know that you will not be moved, because God is able to hold you down. He's able to hold your family down, your loved ones down, your children, grandchildren, friends. He's able to hold us down. And so we have to make sure that we don't lose focus. We don't lose focus, because our trust was never fully in any other organization. Our trust has always been rooted in the sovereignty of God, who he is, his right to rule and reign, his individuality being separated from any other entity that claims power, that claims dominion. God has all power. He has dominion over everything. And so that's where we focus. And so in order for us to do that, again, we have to clarify our concerns. Now, I'm about to get ready to open up. I'm about to get ready to open up this phone line, and I want you to call if you have a concern. Share your heart. Please try to limit your calls to just a couple minutes, as we want to give others an opportunity. We have just a few minutes left before we close out, but I said I wanted to give you a chance to talk about your concerns, or if you have fears, or whatever it is that you're dealing with, what you're feeling, what you're fighting in this season. We want to make sure that we hear you and give voice to you, because right now it's like no one no one is giving voice to their concerns, but everyone is screaming. The whole nation is screaming. The whole world is screaming. But we don't want to scream. We want to give you voice. We want to allow you to put voice and words to what you're feeling and what you're going through. If you want to call, that's 318 230 8772. 318 230 8772. And we will take your calls as they come in. Let me make sure we ready over here. Yeah. And so, yeah, give us a call. We want to hear what you're concerned about, what's going on with you, how you're coping, or what do you think you better need to cope, or if we can agree in prayer with you about your fight. And so, yeah, give us a call right now, 318-230-8772. The lines are open. But, you know, we do want to make sure that we are redirecting our attention back to God, because all of this has been very distracting. This has been very distracting. And we want to make sure that we are not distracted by all of this to the point to where we are not seeing God or seizing God in this season. Yeah, I I was watching some videos yesterday, and my heart really just kind of did a number on me, because I'm like, wait a minute, where that's coming from? I haven't felt anything like that in a long time. I haven't, just wish somebody get their wig split in many, many years, but it came up out of me. And I said, wait a minute, I'm giving too much attention to this stuff. I'm giving too much time for it, because now it's bringing stuff out of me that I don't provide residency for anymore. And we all are there. We all are there. There is nothing that is keeping us from, you know, from thinking otherwise, because that seems like that is the only thing right now. But again, the season is set for the supernatural. God's going to do some miracles in the midst of this stuff for you guys, but you have to make sure that you are focused more on the miracles than the mess that we are currently experiencing. And you have to be intentional. Remember, realities are formed by visualization. The more you're able to visualize a thing, the more permanent it becomes as a part of your reality, because that's the way you see it. And I will say this, in the midst of all this, don't forget to remember your future. And I know that sounds crazy, remember the future. We think that we can only remember the past. But because God calls the end from the beginning, and He already knows what our end is, He already knows the future that He's planned for us. I'm telling you, remember the future that God has promised you. Don't give up on it. Don't walk away from it. Don't say, like, this too much. I guess this is it. I should have did this when I was younger. I wish I would have done that before now. No, it can still happen. God can still do it, and He will. He will still do it for you. I'm telling you. I could have came this morning. I got a couple different pieces that I'm working on, and I know that they're going to be powerful teachings, but I wanted today to have a conversation with you, just to talk with you, because you can go to any website, you can go to any sanctuary and have someone preach at you this morning. But I think it's time that we kind of step down out of the pulpit and have a seat in the midst of God's people and have conversations, and not just do all the talking, but hear from the people of God. And that's why I'm here. Phone lines are open, 318-230-8772. But yeah, it's time for us to have conversations. I've always wanted to be able to ask questions in real time and express myself, and there was never a place or room for that. And for me, it, it caused me to begin to deepen my study and my research. And I just wonder where I would have been if we would have had the type of setting where you could really express that stuff. Because sometimes, man, what the preacher is preaching will make you feel worse. And me telling you some of this stuff, you probably came this morning saying that, or wanting to hear that in 3 days God gonna turn all this around. But the truth is, we can't call that because this is not God's doing. This is the government. you know, we celebrate God for when it happens. Gee, I'm gonna take this call. Hey, please say your name
Good
and what
morning.
state you're calling from.
I am Gwendolyn Sims, and I'm calling from Louisiana in the good old town of Blanchard.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to share something that goes along with the time that we're living in, um, this season, rather. I had a situation on Friday where my mailbox has been ran over about 4 times. Okay. Um, I've seen it on my camera. Every time I have to get it fixed, nobody's ever come back to the house and stopped. I'm sorry, can I pay for it? But there was an incident on Friday where this older black lady came to the house and she rang the doorbell. I went to the door. I didn't know who she was. And she was like, ma'am, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I hit your mailbox. And I went home and I tried to come and knock on your door the first time, and nobody was here. And so it worried me so much. I called my daughter. She lives out of town, and I called her and told her I just couldn't, rest knowing that I had hit your mailbox and I had to come back. So
Mm-hmm.
here I am, and I was coming this time. And if you didn't answer the door, I was going to leave my phone number and address and all this stuff. And she was just so nervous. And so I said, ma'am, that's okay. I said, don't worry about it. And she said, are you serious? I said, yes, ma'am, it's okay. I said, actually, my mailbox has been hit about 4 or 5 times now. I said, and I just go out there and fix it, myself. And she said, but I'm so sorry. Just whatever I need to do. So her coming to apologize about hitting the mailbox, which she was the first person who ever did it,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, pushed us into further conversation. So we talked, she's retired from healthcare, um, and she lives right around the corner. She said, I'm home all day long. I volunteer, at my church, just to have something to do. So I'm here all the time. And so we just got to talking and talking. I shared with her I had a son who goes to the middle school in the neighborhood, and all that stuff. Well, after about 30 minutes of conversation and me getting to know the person who hit my mailbox, the last thing she said to me before she left was, I'm so glad to meet you. Sweetheart, I told you I'm retired and I don't do anything. So if there's anything that you need from me, or your son needs a ride or anything, please let me know. I'll be glad to help. And when I came in the house, I kind of laughed about it. And then I thought to myself, sometimes, in certain situations that, any other time, and
Mm-hmm.
you know me, I get upset about my stuff. So, as far as my mailbox, we've had that conversation. I think about the third time it was hit, I shared with you how I felt about it. But this time I thought about the fact that had that lady not hit the mailbox, I probably would have never met her. I don't know what kind of a blessing this lady could be to my life or to my son's life, especially in this climate, like you said, that we live in.
Right.
Um, but for something negative to happen and something positive to come out of it, I look at
Yes.
it like God putting pieces and things in your life that you need. There may be a time that I can't make it from work, being that I work about 30 minutes away from where I live from my son's school, and I can say, hey, Miss Veronica, do you mind going to the school to get Caden? They're letting school out early, or whatever the case is. Somebody who's right in the neighborhood who can go and get him and bring him home. You know what I mean?
Right, right,
So that kind of made my heart smile a little bit, because I look at it like God putting pieces in my life and putting things back together. You may need something here. You don't see it yet, but I see it up the road that you might need this lady for. And I told her, she told me that, both her daughters are, of course, they're grown and live out of state. She's here by herself. And a year after she moved in the house, her husband passed away. So she's newly widowed and she's alone. She
wow,
needs family as well. So I just thought that was a real, sweet and heartwarming story. And I really felt like that was God speaking, to me, or, to both of us actually, that, your needs will be met. However, I have to meet them.
right, right, right. That is
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing, because that goes to show you guys that when in the midst of these things going on, God is still able to be God, and He's still able to be sovereign. He's still able to cause all things to work together for your good. And you have to know that while God is, or while we are going through certain things, you can't necessarily put God in the same state that you're in, because He's not going through it. He sits above it. Come on, man. He sits above it, and He's able to handle whatever it is that falls into the hands of God. He's able to deal with it. Man, that was a beautiful experience to have, especially in this climate, especially the way that things are. That's a beautiful experience, and I'm grateful for you sharing that with us, Gwen. But yeah, any other calls, because we're just about out of time. If there's someone else, 318-230-8772. We'll take your calls. What you're feeling, what you're fearing, what you're frustrated about. What is it that you are hopeful about? What are you believing for in this season? If you want to call, the lines are open. Just a couple more minutes before we're out of time. 318-230-8772. We'll take those calls. I tell you what, that coffee hitting. That coffee is good, regardless of everything that's going on right now. But yeah, just remember, the season is set for the supernatural. You need to tell yourself that every day on your way to work. The season is set for the supernatural. The season is set for God to do miracles. The season is set for God to exceed abundantly all that I could ask or think. The season is set. It's seasons like these. It's seasons like whenever the widow woman was getting ready to make, the Shunammite woman was getting ready to make her last meal for her and her son, and to die. And the prophet came through. The season is set for those types of miracles. The season is set. And I'm telling you guys, Elijah was at the brook, and that in the midst of that, when that brook dried up, that seemed like it was it for him. But he did not even know that the brook drying up set the season for the ravens to come through and feed him. Don't miss your raven because of what's going on around you. Don't miss your raven because of a government shutdown. Wherever you are, God is able to keep you. He's able to sustain you. He's able to provide for you. And He will. He will. He will do it. Listen, we're just about out of time. I'm going to get ready to let you guys go and enjoy the rest of your evening. I encourage you all to be hopeful, to stay prayerful, and to redirect your focus on what it is that God is able to do now that the season is set. And whatever your feelings are, make sure that you put words to them, put clarity, so that you can bring balance to them, so that you can weigh and balance them by the truth, not just the facts, but also the truth. Make sure that we're doing this in this season. And if you need me before next Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, reach out to me. and I will, if I don't answer your call or text or whatever right off, I'll get back to you at my earliest convenience. But I will definitely get back with you. And I want you all to take a minute before you continue with the rest of your day. If you're being blessed by these sessions on Sunday morning, we've been doing them here on YouTube for a few years now. Go and make a donation. Just take a moment, go and make a donation. However, the Lord will lead you to make a donation, and just whatever is an expression, a token of gratitude and appreciation just for having, this this place, this safe place. Listen, I love you all, and I want y'all to enjoy these games today, or whatever it is that you're enjoying today, and be hopeful. Go into the Monday morning like you own it, and we will see you on next Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. I bid you all blessings and Godspeed. Tell them me claim it, all of my blessings, my name it. With faith, me I go own it. Nothing shall get home it. Speak life, it is a new day. All things in my past, yeah. Welcome to the new year. Me step out in faith and no fear. Blessings go find me, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I miss if ever gonna find me here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Money gonna find me here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I miss the blessings gonna find me here. Oh na 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 na. Let me claim it. All of my blessings, my name it. With faith, me I go own it. Nothing shall get home it. Speak life, it is a new day. All things in my past, yeah. Welcome to the new year. Me step out in faith and know